episode 229 of the Platformers, a show about games and nerd culture. I'm your host, Brian Barnett.
I'm Joshua Mobley.
I'm Chris Shriver.
How can it be?
That was the first time it was like complete silence for, it's been years.
I was about to say, it's been years. We've been doing this show for over 5 years. What was it, almost 6 at this point? Is it almost 6?
Sure,
I
don't know, man.
That's probably right.
Something like that. But
Probably
and I
correct.
still have continued to find ways to make you guys laugh with the way that I begin the show. And I will say, I'm very pleased with myself for this.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah.
Couple of chuckleheads over here. Is a chucklehead just a really nice way to say chuckle fuck?
So,
I mean, sure.
Reverse?
I'll tell you, I've never said chucklehead in all of my days. I've always said...
I don't think I have in my life until this very moment. That is the first time I've said it.
I've also never heard chuckle fuck. I've never heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
Heard it, but it's not, I don't know. Chucklehead is just better.
It's not, I don't think either of these are common.
No, I've only used chucklehead as like a term of endearment.
It's like dingus.
Hey, as I was using it. Yeah, a dingus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a goof.
Like I always hear knucklehead, but that's usually...
Knucklehead, yes.
Yeah. When you
or a dinglehead, you know. Now, have you heard of a dingle hopper?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard of dingleberry as well.
I've heard
dingleberry, very different.
Very different.
I did not hear, fun fact, I did not know what a literal dingleberry was until maybe last year.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd only ever heard it as like a term of endearment about like a goofball type person. But then one of our cats actually had one and Audrey used it and was like, "Oh, I had to clean some dingleberries off of it." And I'm like, "Wait a second, hold on. What did you just say to me?"
What does that mean?
Like
and she had to
hanging poops.
Yeah. From the hair near the... Yeah, you imagine the Charmin bears get that stuff all the time.
Oh.
Probably.
Absolutely.
That's why they love Charmin so much.
You know what's funny?
They gotta get it out.
I have a family friend that she works in a doctor's office. She's in her probably 60s. And she's a proctologist or a nurse for a proctologist's office. And notoriously... they will call out people that use Charmin toilet paper because whatever happens, I guess because it's so soft, it like breaks apart when people wipe, and there's always pieces of it stuck in people's asses. So they'll go to get like a colonoscopy or whatever, and they're like, you
made of sandpaper? Like,
I don't know. But then they're like, I see you use Charmin, and they're like, how did you know that? And they're right like every time.
That's
gross.
Fantastic, first of all.
Yeah.
And second of all, I actually noticed I moved away. This is before we became a house of the bidet. But one of the last brands that we used, either the last brand that we used or the second to last brand that we used, actually, like, I noticed as I was wiping, it was like disintegrating. And I'm like, what is this?
It's rapidly dissolving toilet paper.
I can't, you're not supposed to turn it into nothing until you get into the water, my friend.
Yeah.
You're supposed to stay one solid piece so that I can wipe the fecal matter from my posterior.
It's kind of remarkable how we've only figured that out, it seems like, with toilet paper. Like, that's one of the only products that we've been like, yeah, but the second it gets wet, it just disappears. Like,
yeah.
You'd think we'd do that with more things that are temporary.
Yeah. You mean like let's just say
anything that we're wasteful with, like a paper towel. I guess this wouldn't work like with. I was thinking about like cups. Right. Like, it wouldn't really work for cups because you pour something into it and it just disappears. Better drink real quick.
I mean, I like that idea still.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things like that where I'm just like, man, we couldn't like. Let's make everything just dissolve into nothing.
Yeah.
Let's make it. It's like when I've been taking like we started composting like last year
Composting?
or like 2 years ago or something like that.
It's composting, and you're wrong if you think it's okay. If you think it's composting, okay,
I'm still gonna say it.
I was like, I thought you were about to die on a hill. I was like,
no. It is compost, but
Okay.
I say a lot of times I say stuff differently when I'm talking to Riley, and
Sure.
so that's just gotten me in the habit of just mispronouncing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It's for fun.
Okay.
It's for fun. But yeah, so we started doing that like last year or maybe a little bit over a year ago, and since then we've done like a lot of floss. We've done a lot of things like that. We've started engaging in the compost kind of ecosystem a lot more, and it's made me realize how many things can be manufactured to be composted and how many things are super not. And I'm just like, it seems like it would be a real quick fix to just like flip a switch and turn all of these manufacturing plants into just make the same thing you do now, just out of different materials.
Yeah, but you're asking the companies to spend millions of dollars.
I know.
Yeah.
But
pivoting,
at the same
and
time,
they don't want to do that.
As somebody who's very anxious about the environment
I
and the rapid
understand.
deterioration of it, I'm just like, man, this really just feels like something. This really feels like a softball pitch, you know?
Yeah, you get around it. Just go to Trader Joe's and only buy plants to eat, and then that's. I feel like this is like the gateway to becoming vegan. Is like this is how a lot of people start down that path. Is they're like, wow, I'm really. Frito-Lay bags really do take up a lot of space when you eat enough of them. And then you do that enough times, and then it's like, maybe I should just eat plants forever because they go away.
True.
I mean, that's why we've started just baking food and stuff for people for gifts, because like, who needs more crap,
Right.
It's like we all have so much crap at this point. Like, you don't need another tchotchke. What if I made you some cookies, that you will eat and enjoy?
You will eat and you'll like them.
You'll eat and you'll like these.
One more non-video game related thing. So the Met Gala is happening right now.
I guarantee you we're going to have more non-video game related things.
We definitely are. I sent it in the Discord.
Yeah,
I'm about to throw it on my screen here for me. Jared Leto's fit. He looks like one of those.
He looks like the last boss in a Final Fantasy game.
Ooh, he does. I was gonna say he looks like one of those metal wind things that spin and they look like an optical illusion.
Oh, I was gonna say a wind chime.
No. It's like those like. Oh, but it's got like.
I think I know what you
feather
mean.
things. Like they spin and they just look weird.
Sure.
Yeah. And they go all the way down to the
just
pants.
defines Jared Leto right there. Spin, look weird.
Yeah. But man, what a look.
Jared Leto, Harry Styles, Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller needs to go away. Actually, Jared Leto also needs to go away.
No, he needs to get help.
Yeah, Miller. Well, no, that's what I mean. Ezra Miller needs to go away and get help.
Yeah.
Jared Leto
needs to just. Hey, dude, can you stop making movies worse?
Can you stop
and just go back to 30 Seconds to Mars, which was an awesome band?
Yeah, can you stop acting like you're Daniel Day-Lewis because you're not?
No.
And go back to making music?
I've heard he's fun in House of Gucci, but the last movie I saw that he was legitimately really good in is Fight Club, and he's barely in it.
I was going to say probably Dallas Buyers Club, of which he won an
I haven't
Oscar
seen
for,
that.
But
I haven't seen that, but
that's probably the last thing I've seen him in where I was like, yeah.
And I thought he was okay in Blade Runner. I didn't think he was great, but I thought he was insert name here villain. Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
He's a weirdo, man.
I didn't see that movie. I should.
It's not bad.
I've heard it's very good, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yep.
Visually, I think it's good. I think it does some cool things. I don't feel like it has as much to say as classic Blade Runner, but I still thought it was good. Like, that's still a fun world to be in. And I think it says some interesting things, if not like, I don't know. It's definitely not as cerebral as the original.
Well, yeah, but the original was such a leap at its time, like when it came out.
And still, from most things, like most movies don't ask that much of you.
Yeah.
To don't make you leave and be like, oh, maybe I should think about this.
The theatrical cut sucks, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But also,
Theatrical
like,
cut's
I feel like
bad.
a lot of video games and things like that have also asked like that same question as the original Blade Runner, and then either like other things like Detroit Become Human even go further.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like I like that. So there's not a whole lot for 2049 to do because like a lot of that has already been covered elsewhere. But it kind of sucks for like the successor to that movie to like not even reach that level, let alone surpass it and ask something new. Well, I guess it kind of does, but it only goes like one step further. I don't know. And that's nothing that like Halo hasn't done, But anyway.
Speaking of Halo, real quick, because
we were just talking about Halo.
I was just gonna come into this show at noon today. I was gonna come into the show and be like, we need to talk about the Halo show and how much I hate it. And then I watched.
I have not seen one solitary second.
I don't really care.
And then I watched the 4th episode, and I was like, you know what? This is doing enough different thing. Like the first episode, I'll say this: the first episode is so different that it's like jarring, and you're like, what are they like? What are we doing here? Like, why are these the choices that we're making? And then the second episode, it feels like nothing happens, and it's just a lot of plot that I don't care about. I kind of felt the same way about the third, and then I think they're up to like 6 episodes now. But
that sounds right.
Yeah, but the 4th is the one that I watched today, and man, like they do so much to show like how Cortana is created and just like the way that the Spartans interact with each other and like that they interact with Chief. It's just weird, and it's just a different side of Halo that I hadn't seen before. And yeah, I was like fully planning on coming into this being like, never subscribe to Paramount Plus. It's garbage. I hate it. And I finished this episode today, and I was like, "Shit, I have things."
And
to
over
do.
at Paramount, they heard your internal monologue, and they were like, "Hold on, scramble, we gotta get it together.
Get this good
Chris
one out, go."
To talk trash on it on the Platformers podcast.
Yeah,
and then they pulled it out.
The only people I know that like subscribe to Paramount Plus they only do it for like a month or two, and it's just to watch Star Trek, and then they bounce.
Yeah, I mean,
which I've heard is also bad, but
I don't know.
Depends on who you ask.
There was
from people who really liked The Next Generation, which is the people who this is for.
I still think it depends on who you ask.
You could say like literally anything
because all of my friends who like I don't really like Star Trek that much, but like my friends that like Star Trek still like the new stuff. But I've heard people complain about the new stuff. Like it's funny, but like you can almost just like you can take any Reddit post about Star Trek, like modern Star Trek, just replace Trek with Wars, and it's like the same shit. Like it's pretty on point. Like you're never going to
they've kind of been through the same thing. Like they were great in the like early stages, and then there was like arguably a dip in quality, and then there was some time in between, and then they came out with new stuff, and then there's current stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's one of those things too, where like if you're a kid and you're coming into either of these franchises now, you're probably going to just like all of it.
Sure.
And then anything new past that, you're going to be like, bruh, because it doesn't meet like the thing. But that's just part. I think that's just part of it. Like
the critique that I've heard of Picard specifically is that it runs counter to the world building, morality, and individual characteristics of the characters from the original show. Like the characters do stuff that's out of character for them, and that they're basically like not the same characters.
That's how Halo is right now. And that's, I think, why I like it, is because it's not it's. I was just gonna say it's not just like
But the difference
what
is
we've
one is
seen
a
in all the
reboot
games.
and the other is a continuation of the story.
Right, yeah. Like it's I think I finally accepted that like this is totally not anything like the games outside of just like the core elements of like there are a Covenant and there's a guy named Master Chief.
This isn't
like,
Jen Taylor Cortana. This
right.
is
Well,
this other person.
no, it's still her. She still voices Cortana, which is cool.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not radio show host Chief. It's it's super fit brunette guy that you know is brunette because he never wears his helmet, Chief.
Pablo Schreiber.
Pablo Shriver?
Schreiber.
You really need to to announce that you're connected to the show.
Burr.
Any relation to Liv?
Liv Schreiber.
Schreiber?
Yeah.
Who the hell is that?
It's Liv Tyler.
It's Liv Tyler, dude.
No.
You dork.
The dude from Kate and Leopold and Salt and
I don't. Yeah. This isn't a
and
real person.
Stops talking.
Hold on.
Kate and Leopold. I haven't
Liv
heard.
Schreiber.
I don't know, man.
This fucking guy.
This
Hold
guy.
on.
No, they're not related. They're not related.
You guys looked at me like I was crazy.
No.
It's Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
No, dude. There's a dude named Liv Schreiber, and he played Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
He was in that Ray Donovan show.
He was Ray Donovan.
Yeah. Anyway, all that to say, if you have any plans to watch Halo, do what I did. I got Paramount Plus. It was like $3 for 3 months or something. Like, wait for one of those deals to come around and just watch the whole thing. But no,
because then it'll be worth it.
know that you're gonna watch the first episode and be put off a little bit, but also intrigued. And then the next two are gonna be trash. And then maybe you'll like the fourth one.
You're really
It's Final Fantasy 13. It gets good after 50 hours.
That's kind of how it is.
That's
like,
a lie.
What's funny is like I have so many other things I'd rather
It's just
watch.
good from the get-go.
And I'm just like, I need to watch this because none of you are, and either of you are, and I feel like
I'm not paying for that. Even at $3, like I'm probably not paying for it.
That's fine. But I was just like, you know what? I need to see this through. I need to see what happens because I want to be that guy at the party that's like, someone's like, oh yeah, it's like the Halo show, and I could be like, actually, the Halo show wasn't that bad. Like, I want to be that guy. I want to be that.
It sounds like you already are that guy.
I love that. That's your imitation of you at a party.
Yeah.
Actually,
as a matter of fact, Vigan.
Yeah, but that's
the third dimension.
As we know, time. I don't know why I went into like half Harry Carey, half Bernie.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was very strange. Hold on, I gotta write that down. But yeah, continue.
No, that's it. All I could say is, if you have any plans on watching the Halo show, just don't expect to like it right away because you probably won't. It's so different than the games.
Oh my god, I just saw that picture of Jared Leto that you put in the chat. Why? Why are you this way? Why are you the way that you are? What the fuck is that? He looks like a chandelier. Or a weird furry caterpillar from the ocean floor.
Yeah. Any hoozle.
Yeah, anyway.
Video
games. Video games.
Video games.
Video games, indeed. So I want to get a little something out of the way because even though last week when I did my final review of Variable Barricade, I was like, I'm done with this game. I actually went through, beat the other two paths, then got the bad ending that is like the weird fifth ending, and then that prompted opening up the true ending, and then I beat the true ending today. And there are some wild reveals in this thing, and it's really, really, really good. It throws you for a loop. It kind of ties in all of the other endings and surpasses them. But it's a lot of fun. So I just wanted to add that like tiny addendum of like, oh, I didn't realize this, but after you play all four of the guys' stories, it actually unlocks like the true ending. I still feel like this is kind of not to the same extent, as like Nier Automata because that game makes you replay like a lot of the same stuff, which I have not done. I just know that's part of it is you replay the same stuff from different angles and things.
Yes and no.
Okay, well, whatever. You get to skip the total
Be
first.
as cryptic and spoiler free as possible.
Yeah. Anyway, in the beginning of this game, there's a bunch of stuff that happens, and you just skip straight to the new stuff when you replay the game. So you're only playing the new things that you haven't done before, which I like. And I like it when games do that. When they're like, you can fast forward to whatever the part is that you were at, and then you can just make the decisions that you would have made before. Like in a menu select or whatever. So I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
But that's that. And now I'm done with Variable Barricade. There will be no more talk of that. Although I did realize that there are like reason endings where like she kind of rejects the person. Then there's a love ending. Then there's a marriage ending for each of the 4 characters. And then there's 2 bad endings and then the true ending.
It sounds like a trophy nightmare.
You're never gonna play this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on Switch, so like
no. But if it was on Vita, like this would have been a trophy nightmare.
I mean, it might be, but I don't know that they would require you to get all of them. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not gonna do all of that because getting the true ending, I kind of feel like all the other ones would be unsatisfying.
Fast forward to next week. So I played all the other.
I specifically I haven't deleted it yet, but I did exit out of the game and specifically boot up like the triangle strategy demo just to have something else just running on my Switch so that when I pick it up, I'm not just jumping back in and playing more of this game. Because I am gonna be like, all right, I'm not playing that in my spare time. I'm gonna do like some Game Pass games. I'm finally gonna jump into Tunic. I'm gonna jump into Guardians of the Galaxy and like some other stuff. I am going to play new stuff before next week. But yeah, I wanted to get that in there because the true ending for that game is like considerably better than all the other ones. So even though I was like a fan of this and this went on my best of 2022 list, and I will definitely talk about it when we get to our game of the year discussion at the end of the year or early next year rather. I felt like it would be kind of not doing a disservice, but like not fully doing my job if I didn't talk about like the true ending and how I thought that it was good and actually elevated the rest of it. But anyway, that's what I have to say about that.
Tight.
That's all I have to say about that.
Basically.
Cool.
Josh.
Me?
What have you been doing?
Little old me. I started playing a game that launched in early access last week called Dune: Spice Wars.
Hey,
have you seen this? Heard about this?
It's like StarCraft, right?
Yeah,
it's like a strategy, real-time strategy game.
Trailer.
Kinda.
Civ.
Okay, so
I know nothing about Dune though. Am I the only person on this show that knows literally nothing about Dune?
I watched the movie.
Probably.
Other than the stuff that like I hear people say, like
you know the least about Dune.
Spice Mines of Castle, all that sort of stuff.
I mean, that's a Star Wars line.
I knew that would get Josh. I knew I had to put that out there.
It's one of those like lines where people like to think that Star Wars ripped off Dune, and I have a video planned one day for why that's not the case. But
okay, then Skyrim also did it.
But I will say, just randomly on this topic, I will say that the first time I read Dune, when I finished, I put it down and went, I would be fucking shocked if George Lucas had never either read this or was not like at least aware of its existence.
In some way influenced by it.
Just because of like Tatooine and all that sort of stuff.
There's a lot of things that are like connected. Like there's scenes from like Return of the Jedi where you're like, this is legit the throne room scene, or like there's things where like there's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like the spice mines, right? And like,
I'll be legit. I'll be super honest. That past like 30 seconds of you talking has made me want to read Dune more than all the people being like, dude, you got to check out Dune.
Brian, you would like it. I believe that.
I feel like you've said that before.
Yes. Okay. Let's back up here though. So Dune Spice Wars. It is a 4X strategy game, which I don't know if you've ever heard of like what that is, but the idea is
like
that
Civ
it's like
and stuff.
Kind of. A lot of them are a lot more intense than Civ though, where you will have like economic graphs and you will have like each system will have like its own culture and you do all these like really political things. There's military things you have to focus on. There's a million things you have to focus on. The difference between this game, Spice Wars, and like other 4X games is that it is in real time. But and it's also cut back like significantly from a lot of those things. So it's kind of like playing Civ in real time. It's not turn-based where you would like do a thing and then click next turn and then like the wheel kind of kicks over, right? In this, it's like all happening in real time and you have to manage like your spice stuff and you have to manage your like troops on the ground and like your spies who are in the other factions and doing things and stuff. But there is a pause button, which is really nice because sometimes it'll be like, yo, your spice, like one of your spice harvesters is detecting a sandworm, so get it out of there or else it's going to get eaten. Also, there's a Fremen raid happening. Also, the Landsrats meeting, so you need to vote. And also, you're out of money. And it's like they expect you to handle all this at once, but thankfully, there's a pause button, so you can pause and be like, okay, please, harvester, please leave like the area, and then you can be like, all right, here's all my Landsrat votes and like all this, and then you can hit play and it'll all continue. So that's thank God because I feel like this game will be fucking overwhelming sometimes, especially late game when there's like so many things happening. Like you have notifications show up.
Sorry to dip in real quick, but I was just thinking about this. This is an Epic exclusive on PC, or no?
No, it's on Steam.
Okay,
it's in Steam Early Access.
I must have been thinking about something else.
So in its early access form, it only has single player. It has multiple difficulties. There's no multiplayer yet. There's no like story mode, campaign, or anything. They mentioned that there could be bugs that you could run into. I played one full game, which was about, I want to say like 3 hours and I was playing at speed times 2 most of the time. It took about 3 hours of on and off play to finish that one game.
Can you save in the middle of a game?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You can save.
Nice. Also, Rebecca June Lane in chat asked, Brian, did you not watch the film? I did not watch the 2021 Denis Villeneuve film.
Academy Award winning science fiction.
Although I do plan on watching it when at the latest when the sequel comes out.
Oh, okay.
My books are back there. Honestly, that's fine. Just wait, because I've met people who like didn't know that even though the title literally says Dune Part 1, that didn't know that like it was just gonna fucking end like right in the middle of the story, and they were like, "Well, wait a minute." I'm like,
I know that would really annoy me, so I'm not gonna do that.
So the thing, like when I first got in the game, it reminded me a lot of the actual like Dune board game, which has a similar kind of thing where it's like you're all trying to control Arrakis and you're all in it for yourself. So there's a lot of backstabbing and like doing shit behind each other's back, but like doing alliances and like everybody has their own like special powers and things that they're really good at. This game kind of does that too, where each of the factions is really good at like something. Like for example, like if you're playing the Fremen, you don't have to own the territory in which like a Sietch, which is their cities, they're like underground cities. You don't have to own a territory in which a Sietch is placed to like be their friend basically and trade with them. It's because you're Fremen, you like know the land and shit, right? If you're the Atreides, like they're not as into like they're trying to be very honorable, so like you can take over cities by just like talking them into it. Basically, you can like highlight over a city and instead of invading it, taking over, you can be like, hey, you could come hang out, be part of the Atreides empire basically, right? So you can do like stuff like that, and there's a bunch of other things you can get into. There's all the spec trees like you'd get in Civilization and all that stuff, and it's really cool. It leans very heavily, just like the board game, which I love and very much recommend, leans very heavily into the actual like Dune universe. It's not just like a skin, because things like this can very easily be like, it's Civilization, but like we just threw a Dune skin on it, and it's like, it's not quite, doesn't quite do it right. This very much takes advantage of like the world and the characters and kind of the stuff that happens like in the plots. It's weirdly, I like the art style a lot, but it's weirdly feels like it's has half of its foot in the book world and half of its foot in the movie world a little bit, but I would say it's more in the book. And the reason I say that is just because like a good example is Liet Kynes, who is like a really big character in the first book. In the original novel, they're just like a white dude. But in the movie, it's a black woman. And in this game, Liet Kynes is the leader of the Fremen, and it's a black woman. So like they've taken that thing from the movie and like put it into this, which I don't
That's
have
cool.
an issue with. And so there's a few things where it's like, okay, this was definitely inspired by the movie, or it was inspired by the fact that like whoever is handling the Dune license right now was like, hey, maybe do this, right? All in all, I'm not usually a fan of like 4X games other than Civ, and even in Civ, I'm usually like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I don't know if you've ever played Civ. It's always like, sir, do you want to build like libraries? Do you want to research like animal husbandry? And you're like, why not, man? And you just kind of click the buttons and just hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
In this, because the goal is very singular, it's like you want to have the most hegemony points, or however you say that word. I think it's hegemony. Hegemony, whatever. Points over. So you want to be the one who like basically is the de facto ruler.
Says the
of
dude
Arrakis.
who said compost earlier.
Compost. You basically want to be recognized as the de facto ruler of Dune or Arrakis, right? So that everything you do is based around that. Every trade deal you make is based around like, well, I need spice and they need, water. So we'll trade and then I'll use that to like pay my imperial tax and then I won't have to deal with this and that. Or like I need to like change the exchange rate with Chom so I could get more money, right, to do things, which all sounds ridiculously crazy, but like this game I think above more than any other 4X game I've ever played is like they really simplify everything down into ways that make it a lot more like readable, even though at first, like if you just look at a screenshot, you'd be like, holy shit, there's like so much information. But because it kind of like when you turn on the tooltip like tutorial thing for the first time, it kind of drip feeds you stuff where it's like the first thing you do is you just like send your little ornithopter out to look for shit, like look for cities. And it's like, all right, cool, I know how to move a thing around now. And like it starts just drip feeding you all the mechanics, and then by the end you're like a master of the domain. You're like, Landsrad votes, send the spies off to like do this, like put a ceasefire over here, like take over this village. Like you just start like doing all this stuff. And it's very seamless and nice. And even though it's early access, didn't have a single bug the whole time. I might be unique, but I was looking at some of the Steam reviews, and the only thing I saw was somebody was like, had like a minor UI glitch in one game, but other than that, I haven't run into anything. So even though there's like a little
warning,
warning,
like competitive multiplayer, or is there a single player aspect?
It's only single player right now.
Okay.
There is going to be multiplayer. It's grayed out in the menu, but because it's early access, multiplayer is not in the game. I don't know about like a story mode or anything like that, but right now you can basically just play with bots, which
so it's kind of like Civ in that way, where there's not story.
Yeah,
it's just, you're just playing the game.
Yeah, and Civ has multiplayer also, but I bet that's intense. I don't think I would ever do that, but
no.
I would say it's really good for what it is right now, and it's the first like 4X game other than Civ where I've been like, this is like readable and I can actually manage this. And also knowing the source material helps a little bit, because you're just like, when they say like spacing guild or like your exchange rate with Chom, you're like, oh, I know what that is, right? So they kind of explain it, but you're like, I kind of know what the thing is. My one complaint is there's not enough factions. I think they need more factions with like special powers, because in like Civ, there's so many nations and they keep adding more, right? There's like 20 different nations that you can be, and they all have some kind of special thing with them. And right now there's literally 4. You can be House Atreides, House Harkonnen, smugglers or the Fremen. And like that's not even all the factions in like the board game per se. Like in the board game, you have the Bene Gesserit, which I would say are one of the coolest things in Dune. You have the Emperor. You have there's people who've made like custom like Bene Tleilax and stuff. There's all these other factions in the world of Dune that I'm like, you could include these and have them in, because right now it's like 4 doesn't quite feel like
Doesn't feel
enough.
like meaty enough. Do you know if they're planning to add more?
No idea. And also like they're like a lot of the books focus on like House Atreides and House Harkonnen, but there are other houses in the Imperium, like out in space. There's other like minor houses that are mentioned. Some of them by name, some of them are they're just kind of lumped into like, yeah, there's other houses out there, right? Like vying for control. It's like you could put some of them in there. So I am hoping for more factions, because there actually is a surprising amount of difference between each of them, and I just kind of want more. And also, I just really want Bene Gesserit in the game. There's like not enough Bene Gesserit presence, as far as I'm concerned. But
Means literally nothing to me, but I'll take your word for it.
Representation
All right,
matters,
Brian.
Josh.
Imagine this. Imagine it's like the Jedi, except they're all women, and they all have these like psychic powers, and they're basically like space Illuminati. Like they just like tug the strings of everyone behind the scenes, like to bring about change on a like galactic scale over the course of centuries. Basically, they like do all this crazy shit. It's awesome.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah, Catch the Fever. Dude, Spice Wars is pretty cool.
I almost said Nido Mosquito.
Nido Mosquito. Hold on.
No, we're not going back to this one. We already did that one in one episode. But yeah.
Rebecca June Lane asked Night Sisters ?
No,
Josh.
not like the Night Sisters. No. Night Sisters.
Although I do like the Night Sisters.
Night Sisters are super cool, but not like the Night Sisters.
From Star Wars.
Very different. Very,
who are
very
listening and
different.
don't know.
As long as the spice keeps running through Mos Espa. Everyone will be left alone.
I think if you like Dune and you like Civ, then you should pick this game up. It's pretty cool.
I found Civ a little, because I tried. What was it? Civ 6? Which one did they give out free?
Civ 6 is the latest
Epic?
one.
Yeah, they gave that out one free with Epic, which I was like, oh, this is cool. So I can actually jump in and try this, because like I've had people tell me that like, oh, if you like this, and this, like you probably like Civ, you should try it.
Addictive.
And so I tried it, and I played like. I was playing through one game. I think I had it on easy or something, and I was just getting my freaking shit pushed in. It was terrible.
It takes a long time to understand the mechanics of Civ. And like, if I played it now, I wouldn't be able to.
I was trying to like be friends with everybody, like trying to make all these deals, and they're like, "Nah, dude, you can't."
You try, but you can't. Like I always try. I'm always like, "Oh man, hey France, like you want to be like friends or whatever?" And then all of a sudden, like somebody across the ocean's like, "You're a piece of shit." I'm like, "I don't even know you, man.
Where did you come from?"
Like I actually
the Mongols are like, "Hey man, you want to like?" They're like beating the crap. They're like Zerg rushing me. And I'm like, crap, I can't do anything. Okay, I got to set up walls. I got to fight these guys. I took out like all of their bases, and they had like 5 people left. And they're like, you want to be allies? And I'm like, you're dead. What are you doing here? But then everybody else is like, hey, while you were fighting these guys that were way more advanced than you, technologically and, with superior force and numbers and all that sort of stuff, we were advancing, and now we've built the 7 wonders of the world, and you're screwed. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like I would literally on the back foot, like 90% of my people were dying in every assault.
Here's the thing about Civ. I don't think anyone really knows what they're doing when they play Civ.
Yeah.
I have probably a good almost 100 hours in Civ 6. I don't know what I'm doing. I just am always like, I'm gonna put this city here. Oh, it's near water. Time to make this a port city or whatever, and then just go with the flow.
Yeah, at least in Guilty Gear, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a strike throw character. I'm gonna run up and punch you, and then sometimes I'm gonna grab you. Done.
The other thing though about Civ is that there are tons of win conditions. in
Which I
Civ,
like.
whereas in Dune there's like the one. Like you can like there's other ways to win, but the ultimate goal is control Arrakis, and you do that by either killing everyone or just being the fucking best and like the richest person, you know, who has like the best economy and who's like keeping everyone else out. But you bringing up like other factions being like assholes to you in Civ actually reminded me like my favorite moment in the Dune Spice Wars game I played was I had this city that I had like because I was playing House Atreides, so I didn't conquer them. I like just brought them into the fold. So I had this city off in the outskirts, and the smuggler faction sends like all these dudes in to invade, and I'm like, you fucker, right? Because I haven't done anything to this guy. So I send like all my troops over and then beat him back, like barely beat him back. I'm like, okay, I'm like getting my militia back and stuff. Not like 10 minutes later does this dude send a trade request. He's like, hey, want to trade some like palisite for like spice or whatever? And I was like, fuck you, dude. Like you just tried to take my shit from me. Like, why would I trade with you at all? I just declined every time after that. I declined. I was like, get out of here, get out of my face. Like,
You just attacked me.
Yeah. He kept coming back. Like that wasn't even the first one. Like he would come back and be like,
It's like, hey, man.
I got 8 guys.
Sorry about earlier.
Like, I'm gonna take this place. And I'm like, no, you ain't. No, you ain't. I did win that game ultimately, but
Fuck off my lawn.
fuck, I get it. I gotta get. I'm harvested water over here. You can't have it. You go fuck off.
I'm a moisture farmer. I'm a land farmer, motherfucker.
But yeah, I think it's a cool game, and it's really for early access. Surprisingly, like feels really polished and like ready to go. But
it's like Hades early access.
Yeah,
it's just it's not all done. Like it's only like a fourth of the game, but like what is there feels great.
My one thing I'm curious about though is like how multiplayer is going to feel with the lack of a pause button. Like will it just be complete chaos like at all times, right? Or will there be ways to pause and stuff and do like Landsrad votes in not real time and like other things in not real time? Because like sometimes you'll literally be in a menu and you're like, okay, I'm gonna vote on like I want House Harkonnen to pay more for this, so I'm like putting in my votes, you know, or whatever. But then you'll hear like or something, and you look up and it's like Sandworm is coming, and you're like, fuck. You're like trying to do shit.
Maybe it'll
I
be
wonder
like
how that's gonna be in multiplayer.
Maybe it'll be like Among Us voting, where like
it just pauses the game.
Everything else stops and it just pops up and like everybody interacts with that, and then it resumes.
The way it works now is like like I think it's every week they do the Landsrad meeting, which in Dune is like all of the Fremen tribes and all the houses like come together, and it's like a government of sorts. But the idea is like all these things pop, like these treaties or these things pop up, and some of them will be like, hey, if this vote passes, then you know House Atreides will get 30% more Solari upkeep production. So like it'll be cheaper to keep your upkeep on stuff. But then there's other ones that are like whoever like you can like elect a faction to pay more for water, or they get less water or something, right? So then you can like if you have enough influence and like if you build up enough influence in the Landsrad, you can be like, hey smugglers, remember when you tried to invade me? Now you have to pay double the price for water because I like just shoved all my votes through, you know, to mess with you. And it's like really cool. But like the way it works is it pops up and then you have time to like you can go do other stuff. And then when you vote, it's not like vote, click a button, and then it does whatever it does. You put your votes in and you close the window, and there's a timer kind of just happening in the background. And then when the timer clicks over whatever votes you had in there, it just counts. And then it counts whatever the AI was going to vote.
So it's like actual voting.
Yeah, basically. It's like you have a deadline to vote on this is basically the idea. And if you don't vote, then you didn't vote, you know, and you might actually get screwed over. Like you might be the one paying double for water, right? But yeah, I would say keep
you
an
might
eye
be
on
the
it.
one in Washington D.C. on January 6th. You know, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Anyway, I would say Dune, catch the fever if you're a fan of Dune, you're a fan of games like Civ. It's pretty cool. And I didn't run into really any problems, but I am sort of wanting more Dune
Content.
stuff in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
well, hopefully it'll expand since it's still in early access.
I hope so, because it's cool. It's a cool little game.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cristobal, what you got going on? How you been doing? Hey, how's your heart? You doing okay, bud?
I haven't done much of anything in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than watch Halo.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, that's me taking 50 minutes today to watch Halo. Was the first thing that I've like done for myself in probably 3.5 weeks. We watched Spirited Away last night.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one. What's the general premise of that?
Little girl gets spirited away.
Wait, are you being serious right now?
Is that the one with the cat bus?
Are you being serious right now?
No, that's
I'm being serious.
Totoro. That's Totoro.
Okay, that's Totoro.
Okay,
I've seen that one.
Spirited Away is a little girl. She like rides on the dragon.
I've seen that one. I've seen Kiki's Delivery Service.
Okay, Spirited Away is the one.
I've seen Howl's Moving Castle.
Little girl.
I think that's all the ones that I've seen.
Okay, it's a little girl who her and her parents. It starts out her and her parents are in a car, and they're going to their new house, and Dad goes off this beaten path, and he goes through a tunnel, and they basically end up in this. They think they're in a abandoned amusement park, and it turns out that they're in basically this like land for spirits, and the main place that the main location that it takes place in is like this bathhouse for spirits, and the idea is that the spirits go there to like become rejuvenated, so they can go back out to the spirit life. So like there's like a water spirit or like a river spirit that goes there, and he's like super polluted, and they like clean him up and stuff like that. And this is like the worst description of this movie, because the part of the thing with this movie,
very strange.
Part of this movie, well, that's just it. Is like there's so much in it that happens that as we were watching it, I kept thinking, like I like this movie a lot. It's not my favorite Miyazaki film, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would scream at the notion of me saying that. I just think he's done better movies, or movies that appeal to me more. But I think it won like Best Picture one year, or Best Animated.
It was
film.
Highest grossing animated picture in Japan up until the Demon Slayer movie came out.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a great movie, but there's so much that happens in it, and it is so like there's no way you could watch it once and be like, oh, I get it. Like I understand everything that happens in this movie, and anybody that does,
hold my beer.
Yeah, and anybody that does is like super pretentious. Like there's no way that you can understand all of the meaning.
He got me with the option select. So if I go and do that now I'm an asshole.
Pretty much. Like if anybody watches Spirited Away one time and they're just like, oh my god, and they walk out with all these theories, it's like, no, asshole, you watch this movie and then you watch a bunch of YouTube videos that explain it to you.
We mean theories. It's straight up like just.
Well, no, like
it's like a coming of age thing.
Yeah, but like what the interpretation of it is, or like what it is meant to be conveying, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, there's a lot in this movie. If you've never seen it, definitely watch it, especially if you're a fan of anime. Like it's probably one of the most important anime movies that have ever come out.
True, but like still, like when we were doing Hooray for Anime, like I still hadn't seen what was it, Akira?
Oh sure, but I mean,
what was it, oh my god, I'd seen Standalone Complex, but I hadn't seen Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, but it's like that caliber of like anime movies of like
it's like on the short list of if you're just looking for the top tier anime movies, it's like
you should probably watch
that's
that
on
movie.
there.
I do want to kind of like assemble like that. I don't know if anybody's done like like exhaustive
The internet, I assume.
Yeah, it's been
like
done.
anime movie tier list or whatever. But like, I'd be interested to see what like load bearing stuff I haven't seen. Because like I know there's a lot just
bet
with
you there's
cinema.
a lot.
I know there's a lot with cinema. Like there's a lot. Like the big ones are like The Godfather and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
I would say definitely Spirited Away, definitely Akira, Ghost in the Shell. I would say Perfect Blue. Also,
I haven't seen Perfect Blue.
What was the
either.
one
I've heard
you
that's
did
good.
the video on, Josh? Metropolis, was that it?
Oh, Metropolis is also very good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it like
Foundational or whatever.
No, I wouldn't be like this is like a foundational piece of anime, cinema history, but I think it's very, very good.
I would say
or like Evangelion or whatever.
Yeah. I would say Nausicaa in the Valley of the
throw
Wind.
someone into the deep
That's the
end
one-
with end of a
That's the one that I was looking for the name of. Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind.
That's my
is really,
favorite
really
one.
good. Okay.
And I think a lot of it
But I've heard that one's hard to watch also.
Yeah. It's also like there's a lot of things that I feel like people at Nintendo watched that movie and then they made a lot of Nintendo content like in the late 80s, early 90s. So like there's things in there that like you can tell influence Metroid, influence Pokemon, Pilot Wings. Like there's a lot in that movie that was when it came out was probably one of the first times it was like
in Spirited Away or in Nausicaa?
How much of that though do you think is that movie or just the zeitgeist of the Japanese people at the time?
I think it's a little bit of both. But I'm also seeing it through like a white guy's eyes 40 years later. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
I don't, I can only speculate.
My wife says watch Redline, which also you should watch Redline because that movie's fucking insane.
Rebecca June Lane in chat says, I miss Ray for anime. Heart. I also miss
I
Ray
do
for anime.
too.
Yeah. I also and
yeah.
These Josh and Chris will both attest. I have said many times I would like that to come back, but that's not my responsibility. I can't
No,
make that
it is
happen.
my responsibility. I can barely keep up with getting the fucking archives up on the platformers, let alone editing a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of work.
I just have so much stuff going on right now.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot. Hey, you people out there. I'm the showrunner for this show. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work. Just one show.
Yeah.
And that's just one show, and I've got Josh helping me out on editing duty now. Whereas I used to do everything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that being said,
that's interesting.
I watched that.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good. Yeah, if you've never seen Spirited Away, definitely watch it. It's an important movie. Another one that I watched Friday, which came out, I believe, in 2016, but I haven't really heard anybody talk about it. And I tried to bring it up at a party this weekend, and everyone was like no one cared. So hopefully it doesn't go the same way. It's called The Hunt for the Wilder People.
Who cares?
It's a Taika Waititi movie from 2016. It was like one of his Sundance films.
Dude, Taika, that's all you had to say, bro.
And that was honestly the only reason I watched it. I was like, I love everything he does. But it's about this kid who he's a foster child in New Zealand, and like it takes place in New Zealand. Everybody in it is from New Zealand except for who's the guy in Jurassic Park that isn't Jeff Goldblum and isn't the old man?
Alan Grant?
I think that's him.
That guy?
He's also in it.
No, he's the good guy with the wide brim hat.
Yeah, he takes off his sunglasses. That's a dinosaur. Yeah, that guy.
Dr. Alan Grant.
Yes, he's in it as well.
Portrayed by
Sam something.
Oh my God. Sam Harris.
Sam, no.
No.
I think it's Sam something.
That would be a weird movie.
No, hold on. I'm looking it up.
Too long.
Oh my God. Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Be like,
there you go.
Well, how did you come to the conclusion that was a dinosaur?
But yeah, it's on Netflix. It's been on there for a while. It's one of those like short list movies that I've had that it's just kind of been sitting there. and it's just a very feel good movie. I will say there's a very, very sad sequence in it, so prepare. But yeah, it's basically this kid is a foster child. He gets put into this foster home of this woman and her husband, and
so far just the plot of Shazam.
He has to, but like they live on a farm in the middle of like nowhere, basically.
Did Taika Waititi rip off Shazam?
Yeah. See more at IGN.com.
I would love to see Taika Waititi's Shazam. It would have been even better.
That would have been great.
That would have been cool.
But yeah,
I would love to see that.
It's a very funny movie. I'm trying to talk about it without giving anything away, because I would say if you're mildly interested in anything Taika does, watch the trailer, because the trailer doesn't give away like a big plot moment that I'm also trying to tiptoe around. But yeah, it was only like an hour, 40 minutes long. It has a similar vibe to not nearly as wacky, but it reminded me a lot of Swiss Army Man, if you've ever seen that.
I've not seen it, but the premise was outrageous.
Yeah, it's not as like fantastic in terms of just like, or like just out there, because that movie is super out there. But it's like two guys walking around the woods. And like events ensue. But it's very funny, very heartwarming. Definitely check it out.
Also brutally sad.
Also brutally sad, for sure. No, it's just a good movie all around, for sure.
Cool. Yeah,
Cool.
I caught up on, I think the final episode of Moon Knight comes out in 2 days. But the penultimate episode went up between the last show that we did and this one. And I really liked it. There were some people out there like a friend of the show, B Hunt, that were like, yo, I like wept during it. I didn't get that far, but it did make me kind of like well up a little bit during one scene. And they made a very bold choice, which is having the most important event of the entire series up to this point happen totally off screen. And like by orders of magnitude, the most important thing, the thing that a lot of this has been leading to happens, and none of the camera is not there. None of the characters are there. It's really interesting because you just kind of see some fallout from that happen on the periphery, and you're like, oh snap, that's happening now. Holy crap. Like, and it's very interesting. It would be like if in Age of Ultron, if the machine that lifted that city up into the ground and then it falling just happened and you never saw it. But it happened and people talked about it happening, and you're just like, everybody's over here doing something else. Like having a conversation. It's very strange, but I respect the choice, because it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's real weird. I don't know how I feel. The weird thing is, like, I definitely want to watch more. I'm very excited to watch episode 6. Episode 5 has shaken things up on 2 fronts in ways that like this series hasn't seen before. Like, there are 2 major things that happen in episode 5 that influence things on both the villain's side and the protagonist side. And I'm really interested how that changes the new status quo for the Marvel universe. If it does, I don't know. And at least for the characters, because I have come to really like these characters. It's weird because I feel like this is hold on, let me think about this. Yeah, this is the only Marvel series for whom the character they're introducing wasn't already in other stuff. Like Kate from Hawkeye wasn't in it, but the other main character was.
If you're not counting the Netflix shows, then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not counting like Defenders and Daredevil and stuff like that, because because that kind of happened backwards. Because now Daredevil is in there, and like I don't know. I hope they bring Jessica Jones into the MCU because she was awesome. I love that character. I didn't watch Luke Cage or Iron Fist, but I really like Daredevil and Jessica Jones a lot.
The first half of season 1 of Luke Cage was really good.
Yeah,
it's very specific.
But I think all of Jessica Jones is pretty good, even though I think season 1 is like maybe the best Marvel show that's been. I don't know. Daredevil is also very, very good. But like it's hard for me to compare, partially because this series also serves as like an introduction to Moon Knight. Whereas like the other ones, I was running off of information from the movies. Like I didn't really care a lot about Scarlet Witch, but I knew who she was. Like I didn't care a lot about, Hawkeye, and by the end, I still kind of didn't. But but then there's more time with Bucky, who I already loved, and more time with Falcon that gave me a greater appreciation for him and Isaac and other characters. But for this series is totally introducing a new character, and none of the players in this, none of the main characters in this series have been in anything else. So it's weird to compare it to the other series. I still feel like this is like a more singular kind of story. Like I feel like unlike all the other ones that have stuff that either comes from the MCU at large or folds back into the MCU at large, this is just kind of like a mini series that just tells like kind of a, so far, totally self-contained story that if you wanted to just ignore that this was part of the MCU, it would be extremely easy to do so. And because of that, I have a hard time like really saying whether I like it more or less than the other things, because they're bringing different things to the table. But I am really enjoying my time with it. I do look forward to it. And I'm excited to see the final episode of this, maybe more than the others. But I think that's just because this is largely giving me something very new and novel. And I think even as adventurous as some of the MCU things have been, I think that this still just is doing something very different. And I like that a lot. It's like when Ubisoft was like, hey, we're going to come out with a new Rayman game. And it's like, wait, what? You stopped making Assassin's Creed and you're giving me like this wild, like rhythm music platformer that's also multiplayer, and it's a Switch exclusive for a while, or not a Switch, Wii U exclusive for a while. It's just like a decision from out of left field that I really appreciated. So there's that, and I'll let you know what I think about the next about the whole series next time.
Good deal. Mm-hmm. Is anybody seeing Doctor Strange this week other than me?
Oh my Jesus, is that coming out this week?
Yeah, Friday.
I may go to a drive-in and see that. If you wanted to do a spoiler cast, I would be open to that. I don't know if you're interested in that. If you're trying to do more stuff like that.
I'm asking because I need to know if I can talk about it next week or who I can talk about it with. I'm going.
This has been one of the movies I've been looking forward to, but I haven't been keeping track of when it was actually coming out.
Also PSA, if you haven't muted anything Doctor Strange related and you don't want to be spoiled at this point, I would mute all the keywords on Twitter, because apparently there are some major things that have leaked at this point.
Oh, okay. Cool. I will probably do that after the show. Yeah, but this is of the next batch of films, I think this is the one I'm the most excited about.
This is like this has been the main one that I've been like really, really looking forward to. Honestly, most of the other MCU stuff I couldn't care less about. Even like
Doctor Strange is so off the wall and interesting.
Yeah,
because there's really are no rules.
Yeah. And everything that's even like out right now and that's coming out, none of it is interesting to me at all. I haven't watched a single episode of Moon Knight. I'm sure I would enjoy it. I don't care about Captain Marvel. I just don't. I hated that character in the Avengers game. Sorry, Josh. I did. I think it's just that type of energy of just like, wow, the Avengers! Like, it was just a lot for me. I was also playing that game when I was in a very dark place, so that probably had a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Thor.
Oh yeah, no, all right, I'm looking forward to Thor.
Thor's the next one. Then Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Marvels, then Fantastic Four, and then 2 untitled things.
I think the Marvels just switched with Ant-Man in terms of release dates. And then
okay.
Fantastic Four just lost its director. And I'm trying to think of the other one.
Yeah, it's all TBA on Fantastic Four and the other ones.
A lot of what's coming they don't even have dates for yet. Or they're going to keep changing. Like,
oh, weird. I didn't know that Miss Marvel was going to be a Disney Plus series. Yeah, so after Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, What If Season 2. I'm excited about What If Season 2. I really liked What If Season 1. I thought that was cool.
I just watched the Doctor Strange episode. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Then Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Secret Invasion, Agatha House of Harkness, Armor Wars, which I'm guessing is like an Iron Man thing probably, Echo, Ironheart, and then a Wakanda series. So of those, it's mainly like Doctor Strange and Thor, which are literally the next 2 things that we're getting.
What? This entire conversation is making me fucking exhausted.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I actually had the thought today of like, I think after this movie, I have that AMC A-list thing. I may cancel that after this movie comes out because I don't need to do it anymore. Like, I don't care enough about getting spoiled for anything that's coming out in the next 12 months.
I don't care either.
That I'm just like, if I'm working on the weekend and I get spoiled, I get spoiled. Like, that is what it is.
And I actually found a drive-in movie theater that's cheaper than the one that I've been going to. That's like barely more than a movie theater like thing per ticket. So I'm probably gonna go check that out.
Nice.
So I may go see this someplace. Who knows? I do want to see more movies. I'm at this point where I'm just like, I may take a step back from like. I've kind of been thinking about this in general. I wonder what you guys think about this. I've been playing so much, like so many, or not so many, but I've been playing so much of the few fighting games that I play, and I've been playing those games like a lot more frequently, like multiple times a week for several hours and these sorts of things. And like with Marvel stuff, like that's taken up a lot of the oxygen in the room for me, film wise and television show wise. And I kind of want to take a step back from both of those things and get a lot more of like little things.
Yep.
So like I'm not going to be playing, Dragon Ball and Guilty Gear all the time, but I am going to dip into Tunic, and I am going to play like this over here. And I am going to play I'm going to play Weird West. I am going to play like this sort of a thing. And maybe I won't watch a Marvel thing, but maybe I will go watch like a Sundance movie, or I will watch like, I'll get caught up on, this isn't exactly like a small thing, but I'll get caught up on What We Do in the Shadows or something, you know what I mean? Like stuff that I like that's like small and like more unique. Cause like there's nothing like What We Do in the Shadows.
No, there isn't.
Like there's nothing that exists that is like that.
Yeah.
And that it's awesome. Like I saw somebody put up a Twitter poll, and it was like, who's the best vampire? Nadja, Nandor, Laszlo, or Colin Robinson? And I'm like, first of all, get Nandor right out of this list, and then you can't make me choose. Yeah. I can't choose between the last 3. They're all amazing. And that speaks to that show. Like the writing on that show is awesome, and it's totally absurd and ridiculous, but I kind of want to have more of that sort of stuff. Like I want to go see The Hunt for the Wilder People. I want to go see Jojo Rabbit. I want to go watch Our Flag Means Death. Did I just name 3 other Taika Waititi projects? Yes, I did. And you know what? Maybe I just want to go see some Taika stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
You should live your dream and do it. I've been trying to watch more movies this year too, and I think I'm up to I'm probably near 100 if I'm being honest. I don't know. I have to look at my letterbox.
Jeez, it'd be crazy.
I think in February I watched almost a new movie every day in February.
Wow.
I slowed down since then, but
they're so short.
A lot. Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that I was thinking of is like, it's not like reading books. It's not like watching television shows. It's not like playing games. Like movies are so short. So like getting something new and novel is like, it seems to me to be like really easy compared to like other art mediums, other than like watching looking at a painting or something like that, looking at a piece of art.
Well, no, but
like
no,
a drawing,
you're
which
exactly
is like,
right. I think it's why I've been doing it more is because I have smaller pockets of time. Yeah. I would love to play Hollow Knight for a 3-hour stretch and be like, I completed a section. Yeah. Not happening. It's just not. There's one day a week that it can happen, and it's Saturday morning, and I've been doing stuff.
Are you continuing with the game?
I want to. I haven't had time.
Yeah.
I've had stuff all over the house, and it's just been crazy. I was on call last week, so like I really didn't get to do much at all last week. And now this week I'm catching up on everything that I couldn't get done last week. So
okay. So not quite 100. I've watched about 60 new movies in this.
That's a little different than 100.
That's still pretty impressive considering it's the beginning of May.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think February, when I counted, it was almost a new movie every day. Some days more than one.
Will this be the year that I
60.
finally watched The Godfather and other very famous movies that I have not seen?
Godfather's good.
Who knows?
It's a good movie. It's very long though, and there is an intermission. So if you feel like burnt out, just stop and come back.
Also, lately,
long movie.
A lot of, at least around me, a lot of local theaters have been showing that because it's like one of the anniversaries of it, and they did like a re-release of it recently.
That's all right.
Wow, so I might actually be able to go see it in a theater.
If you, I mean, you might be.
You
able
might
to.
be. But that's a 3-hour experience. So like strap in.
I will tell you, there is a like old timey, like Back to the Future looking 50s style cinema. I'm just remembering that because we've just watched Back to the Future fairly recently, and like you rock up and it's like, I forget what it was, but it was like the movies that were on the marquee in when he goes back in time in that movie. But we have one of those in Houston, not too far from where we live. There's like on a little mall strip, there's like an actually old ass theater cinema with the same marquee like jutting out from the front, and they almost exclusively show like indie films and old movies.
We have one. Yeah, we have one of those in Berkeley that does the same thing. They do a lot of like double features.
Yeah, but
with
they have
live
like
orchestra.
They are
sometimes
small. Like it is a small. Like it's one of those places where like you go up the stairs, you go to the left, you go to the right, and like that's it. Yeah. Like it's a small building. You go in there. There's like maybe 50 seats. Maybe
there's no arcade.
No.
Get it out of here.
You walk in, the popcorn machine is like one of those that you like stroll around, real small.
Yeah, that's how the Ambler Theater and the County Theater by me are. Oh, that's in October.
The concession stand is like the size of my desk. Like it's like we got 3 bags of M&Ms, we got 1 thing of Smarties, and we got some popcorn.
These aren't.
Maybe we get something from the soda fountain.
These aren't all like amazing movies, but they're good movies. I'm gonna go through the list of things that the County Theater is showing by me in the next few months, as far as like retro movies go. Spaceballs,
great movie.
The Mummy.
Hell yeah!
I don't really remember that much about it.
This one, I have to say,
it's a fucking cinematic classic. The Mummy.
I have to say quiet because I'm gonna take Jess for a date night on this one. Mamma Mia. She loves that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen it.
Okay. Where do you land on 1 versus 2? Because I
haven't seen 2.
2 is way better.
Are you serious?
I think so. Some people who like love the first one, they told me I was crazy, but I watched them back to back, and I'm like, no, 2 is better. The songs are better. The color grading's better. Like it's a better made movie.
The color grading's better.
All around, just everything about it is better. Like I don't understand. It's better. Also, it has the line "Be still, my beating vagina" in it, which is like maybe.
Hold on, let me write this down.
Maybe one of the greatest lines in cinematic history. So I'm just throwing it out there. Mamma Mia 2 is better than the first one.
All right, I got 3 more.
I'll die on this hill.
The Karate Kid, which I've never seen.
It's good.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've never seen it.
It's good.
I just know like Sweep the Leg, and I've seen the wax on, wax off part.
It's super 80s. but not like overly 80s. I don't know how to say that, but
it's very
good.
Teen Wolf 80s.
No, it's like, it's like kid becomes Karate Kid.
Kid becomes Karate Kid, the movie.
It's good though. I recommend it. Like I don't it's not like one of those movies that is like in the high echelons of cinema, but I would say it's like on the same level of like a Back to the Future or something, where you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in this, and like it's good. It's well made and like well written, and it's good.
2 more here, and then I'm gonna do a few at Ambler. Legally Blonde, which I love. I love that movie.
I haven't seen.
Great movie.
And one of my favorites, Labyrinth.
Seen it once.
Movie.
Have you ever seen They Live?
Yep.
Based off the thumbnail, it looks like a Josh Mobley movie.
Dude, They Live.
Ants,
awesome.
right?
What's that?
I thought it was about ants.
Not about They Live.
Looks like zombies.
I thought it was about ants.
You're thinking of Them.
That's
from like
I
the
am
60s.
thinking about them. I am thinking about them.
They Live is a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
And that's a Brian Barnett movie if I ever saw one.
What?
It's
really?
I
don't think
so.
I've ever seen a John Carpenter movie.
Do you know the have you seen Halloween?
No.
Okay. Have you seen why am I blanking on
hold on.
I don't
whatever.
know.
Anyway, do you know the premise of They Live? Do you know what
No.
it is? So it's a guy, it's like it takes place in the 80s, and it's a guy who finds these sunglasses, and when he puts them on, like he sees the world for what it really is. So all the billboards become like just white with black text. They say like consume and shit. And then he can see like that certain people are not human. They're like these weird alien things. And so he starts like, he gets into this whole thing with these people that are convinced that like the world's not quite what it is. Like there's like a system of control, like keeping everyone like docile.
A Federal Bureau of Control.
Yeah, but like, alien origin. It's good. I recommend it. It's very iconographic, I would say. Like a lot of things have borrowed from it.
Cool.
Interesting.
I was also another thing that I was thinking about, and is this a John Carpenter movie? But what is it? The Thing?
The Thing remake is John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Thing was originally came out in like the 50s, and it is not the one that everyone
talks about.
The John Carpenter one is the one that everyone loves.
But specifically John Carpenter's The Thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And this is the thing that I've heard about where like there's a dog in it and it's creepy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually just bought that movie because I haven't watched it in probably 20 years and I wanted to.
The original Thing is just a big dude in a suit that goes in John Carpenter's
big dude
The Thing,
in a suit that
like,
goes woo.
Pretty much. In John Carpenter's Thing though, there's a whole thing about like it could be anyone, like I think it's based on a short story called Who Goes There, I think is what it's called.
Okay. I believe you.
But it was written around the 50s. I haven't actually seen the original, but I have seen the John Carpenter one, and it's very good. But if you are squeamish,
do not.
maybe avoid it.
Maybe
because it is one of the goriest movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, that was one thing I wanted to mention about episode 4 of Halo. There is a scene similar to the eye scene in Dead Space 2 that I straight up...
I haven't played Dead Space 2.
Straight up
that
could
you
not
noped
watch.
Out of?
Oh my God. Horrifying.
In Halo.
It's literally my least favorite type of gore. Remember when we watched that clip with B Hunt? With it was just like that. And I fucking hated it.
I literally was like, I'm leaving the call. I forget exactly what that was, but I do remember that being a lot.
Eye Splitter from Zombie. It was some zombie movie. Or Eye Splinter, that was it.
Yeah.
That already doesn't sound great.
No.
I'm not I like horror movies, but I'm not a gore person. I very much am like into the more gothic type stuff.
You're into Hammer films.
I do fucking actually really like all the Hammer movies. They're really
I know.
fun.
Why do you think? Like we've talked about this before. I know what you like.
Like The Shining is my favorite horror movie.
As it should be.
There is a little bit of blood, but not
there's
like
not
The
really,
Thing.
not
a little
like someone just has some blood on them, you know.
There's literally an elevator full of blood that opens.
Okay, fair point. But like, that's not the same.
No,
you know what
it's
I
not.
mean?
I know what you
like, that could just be like Kool-Aid.
Rivers of blood, oceans of blood.
Yeah,
It's
there's
different when it's that much. You're just like, okay, this means nothing. It's different
This might
when
as well
it's like,
might as well not even be there.
it's different when it's like it being ripped out of a person forcefully, right?
When I
You're
say,
like,
I'm ripping out your blood now. But yeah, like when I watch those sorts of things, I'm just like, man, can you imagine being on the crew and having to clean that up the next day?
Oh.
Man.
Yeah, and they had to refilm that scene like multiple times because Stanley Kubrick was an insane person, and he was like, doesn't look quite right. So they had to keep.
There's just some set designer like.
Yeah, it took them
twitching.
days every time to like clean it and then like reload all the blood in the elevator. Yeah,
That's insane.
Can you imagine if you worked in that office building and you're just trying to get to work and they're just like, hold on, we gotta fill the elevators with blood again, and you're like, I have a meeting. What are you doing?
I gotta get down here. Yeah. Wild times.
Wild times.
I have one more thing that I can talk about very briefly because I don't want to give away some stuff that might come later to your podcast feeds and video feeds. But I also have been playing a little game called Overboard. Have either of you heard of this?
No, but I
Nope.
know there's a movie called Overboard.
It is
I'm sure
not
there's
the
multiple
Goldie
movies called
Hawn,
Overboard.
Patrick Swayze vehicle,
Oh.
Overboard.
Oh,
Although
alright.
I did enjoy that movie when I saw it when I was a child. No, this is a reverse murder mystery game.
Get Away with Murder, highly replayable detective game where you're the one who done it.
The game begins with you, Mrs. Villansy, murdering your husband. And then you have, I think...
Well, the name like that.
Yeah. You have, I think, like 8 hours before you reach... You've been on a ship from England to America. And you have about 8 hours until you make landfall. And you have to get away with it before then. Like you basically have to either set things up such that it doesn't look like you're the one who did it, or that, you know, you redirect something else, you make it so that you were definitely not there at the time. And it feels like, what do they call it? It's not a locked room mystery, but like a small room mystery. Is that anything? Where like there's not that many, there's like 5 characters.
Like
or 6.
Clue?
Kind of like that. It's kind of like Clue, where like there's different cabins across the ship, but there's not that many people that you're interacting with. There's like there's Lady H, Carstairs, the Major, the Steward, like 1 or 2 other characters, the Commander, and then you. Oh, and then, like there's fewer than 10 characters in the whole game. But it's different people go different places at set amounts of times, and it's kind of like Hades, where like it's not really a roguelite, but like if you fail, it's like, okay, you're going back and like now you can use the information that you have of where this person's going to be when to like figure out what you're going to do. And there are a bunch of different ways to figure it out. There are a bunch of different ways to solve it. And it kind of unfolds into this other thing. The reason why I'm not going to really go into more, even though I have beaten it, is because I'm actually thinking about maybe doing a spoiler cast with Audrey and Ronnie.
Fun.
But I'm we're still kind of in the planning stages of that. So that may be something that we do on another day of the week, or that may be something that we do in lieu of one of these Monday episodes. I'm not sure, but we'll talk about that later. But I just wanted to put that out there because I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I wanted to kind of give my traditional platformers plug because I definitely think this is Catch the Fever worthy, and it's on Switch and Steam, and it's only like $15 even when it's not on sale. So it's real fun. It's got a lot of heart and character. It's a very fun kind of breath of fresh air after playing like a lot of intense games. It's a really fun thing to do.
Nice.
So I think we've Audrey and I've been sitting together and playing it because we've been planning on doing maybe a spoiler cast for it. Although I'm not sure if this is going to fit the traditional kind of spoiler cast format, but we'll see about that later. But I think we've completed it and gotten away with murder, I think, maybe 3 times total. But there's kind of more carrots on the end of sticks. There are like more goals in the future that I'm just like, I wonder about this. Like you find out new pieces of information as you kind of explore, and there are new like threads that you can pull at, and you kind of have to decide, okay, on this next run, I'm going to kind of pursue this and see if that gets me anywhere. But yeah, it's interesting. I like it a lot. So I'll definitely have more to say about that later.
Sounds like a board game, like the setup of a board game.
Yeah,
I think it would work
like a
really
werewolf
well.
Kind of thing. Like it.
Yeah, I think it works well. It would work well in that format. And it also has, just because we've been playing it together, it is one of those games that like you could play with someone else there, or with like a couple of other people there. Like I could see that being a really fun kind of group thing.
Yeah, like it reminds me a little bit of how we would play Baba Is You, where like, you know, the game starts out and you're like, Baba is rock. Well, what if Baba was water? And it's just everybody starts screaming things at the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make Baba be water.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Good deal.
Wrap?
Cool. Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining us for episode 229 of The Platformers. You can watch us and talk to us as we record each episode live. Oh damn! I got a correction. It was not Patrick Swayze, Rebecca June Lane with a swift correction. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. It was Kurt Russell.
Isn't that when they did that?
I think this is when they
got married.
I think this is when they got together.
Yeah.
Was after this.
Yeah.
Which is funny because of what that movie is actually about. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's kind of what happens in the movie, and then it happened in real life. You know, real life imitates art. But yeah, thank you so much. If you want to talk to us as we're doing the show, offer up, you know, kind of questions or thoughts, topics for discussion, you can join us every Monday night at 7 Central at twitch.tv/platformerspod. You can check out the archived video episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/platformerspod with breakouts that go out of each section on YouTube. Thank you very much, Chris and Josh, for handling those. And then you can catch it on your audio platforms. You can check it out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Google Play, all these sorts of places. And that goes up on Tuesday, around the midday. Yeah. If you want to check out all of us individually, you can find out all of us. You can talk to all of us as a group at PlatformersPod on Twitter and Instagram, although I think we're not really doing that because we all got too much to do. Specifically, Chris has too much to do, and I'm not trying to harangue him into doing more for that, which is totally fine. I can't pick up the slack because I don't like Instagram. But you can check me out at twitter.com/ribnax. And this week, I started streaming again. So you can follow me at twitch.tv/ribnax. I've been streaming my 100% playthrough of Elden Ring on PC. I've gone through Limgrave, the Weeping Peninsula, and Liurnia of the Lakes, and now I am wrapping up Caelid before moving on to the Altus Plateau. I've been having a real fun time with it, and it's just been fun kind of puttering out and just kind of chilling and talking to people in chat. It's very methodical and relaxing and just chill vibes. So if you're looking to do that, I'll be streaming. I'm looking at streaming a couple of days a week around the midday, maybe two in like the 2 to 4 central kind of area. So hit me up if there's a specific thing that you want to see after this. I may jump straight from this into the promised winner of that vote, which is Resident Evil 2 Remake. My very first playthrough of a Resident Evil game. Because I know that people really liked it when I played through Final Fantasy VI and was like, yeah, I never played this game before. So we're going to see what happens. But there's that. So that's what I've been up to. And if you want to check out what I've been doing, you can read the IGN Elden Ring wiki. And I'll have more stuff that's going up. And I'll let you know when it is.
Cool. You can find me on Twitter at the Jawa Josh. I don't tweet that much, but that's where I am. And if you want to see all the cool video essay stuff I'm working on, you can go to youtube.com/mediaismythic.
You can find me at Shrives93. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. Please review us on your podcast platform of choice and follow us on all the places and like and all that sort of stuff. You know what it is. That stuff really, really helps us, but you've heard people pitch that all the time. So please do it for us. That would be awesome. And if you have a good time with the show, share it with friends and family and all those sorts of things. Strangers, I don't care. More ears, the better. From everybody here at the Platformers, we hope that you have a wonderful week and stay safe out there. Because until next time, we are out.
Bye.